Hey guys, welcome to one of my little digital labs here. And I'm just showing you some of the igneous rock samples right now, just a real quick version of what we would do in class. Typically, I would have all of these rocks out for you in groups, and you would kind of organize them based on their characteristics. Notice this chart here. This shows how you would normally classify igneous rocks, whether they're light colored or dark colored. Technical words are felsic, mafic, and then what kind of texture they have, whether it's glassy, meaning you can't see the crystals, fine, crystals are less than 1 millimeter, coarse, which are 1 to 10 millimeters, and then very coarse, which are 10 millimeters or larger. All right. So it's all done by color and crystal size, basically. So this piece of let's start off with something simple, which are these little pieces of granite right here. So notice the crystals definitely are large here, which make it a coarse igneous rock. So granites are right here. Notice that it is mostly light colored minerals inside the granite as well. Here's another piece of granite. Again, bigger crystals, light color. So granite is felsic and coarse, right, in terms of texture. Real quick, let's go a little bit smaller, like rhyolite. Rhyolite here, you can barely see crystals. You might see a little sparkle here and there in here. So this is a light colored igneous rock with very small crystals. This is a fine grained texture to it. So let's just do the opposite of rhyolite, which is basalt. Notice you can see some little speckles here in the camera, definitely less than 1 millimeter, but this is on the dark side. So basalt would be over here on the mafic side of the chart. The rhyolite and basalt are basically the same in terms of crystals, but very different in terms of their composition, whether they're light colored minerals or dark colored minerals. So here's another kind of rhyolite, light color, barely see anything. This is another sample of rhyolite. So you can have many different colors of rhyolite, many different colors of granite. Okay, this is another granite. This has a lot more of a pink to it, a lot more feldspar, but still considered light color. All right. These are pegmatite. Notice how big this crystal is. It's bigger than a centimeter. So this is very coarse. All right, giant crystals in terms of granite. So those go down here. Again, light colored, very coarse in terms of the crystal size. So some other examples here on the upper end. This is a piece of obsidian. Notice obsidian is right here. Notice I have it on the light colored side. You might be like, oh my gosh, that's like dark colored. That doesn't make sense. But if you slice this really thin, it's actually clear. And it's mostly made of quartz. All right. The minerals didn't have time to separate out and organize. Remember, all of these rocks are made of the same minerals. All right. They're light colored minerals. Just this cooled very quickly. This cooled a little slower, way slower, very, very slow, probably a couple 100,000 years for these pegmatites to cool. All right. Gabbro is kind of the opposite then of granite. So again, the crystals are bigger in here, more than 1 millimeter. And that leaves us with some of these extra uh, classifications over here, whether it has gas bubbles or not. So this is a piece of what's called vesicular rhyolite. So it's a rhyolite, but it has gas pockets in it. It has bubbles in it. So that's over here. That would be a vesicular rhyolite. There it is. There's rhyolite. I know this is getting a little crowded now. You have pumice, which we mentioned floats in water. So again, these are both light color. Notice how this one looks a little darker, but again, same thing. If you look at it thin, sliced, it's pretty much clear. Here you have scoria, vesicular basalt. These all have air pockets in it. And finally, I only have about 20 seconds left. This is a rock called diabase. All right, diabase is the only igneous rock that occurs in Pennsylvania here at the surface. Diabase is basically a coarse grained igneous rock here in Pennsylvania. Sometimes it's on the border between a fine or coarse.